wanted to talk about the things I've been seeing with the Gundam card game. This isn't necessarily a sad downer video on the state of Gundam, but I wanted to talk about a lot of the things I've been seeing from the community as a whole, the state of it from stores. So make sure you guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. So I want to compare very early Gundam to very early One Piece, where if you guys remember, the first 4 to 5 sets of One Piece were an absolute train wreck. Set 1 boxes are still crazy. Now, something that Gundam did was they made the beta product, which beta cards are already crazy through set 1. So that's an entirely different ballpark for what they were trying to do. Beta boxes are already shattering, $1,200 to $1,400. Actually, I think they're like $1,700 now, but we're not here to go into that. So set 1, we're technically in the meta, what I would like to call 1.5, where we had the first set drop. We had an additional structure deck come out, which was the Iron-Blooded Orphans. In just a couple straight weeks, we're going to be having set 2 drop and an additional start deck. So we will officially be getting our second wave of additional cards into the game. Now, with the first set, you're going to have some very, very, very defined meta because there's only so many combinations of things that you can work with in the first set. The first thing I've been hearing a lot more from in the game is been, I hate the aggro decks, or, I hate this deck that board clears me. And you hear a lot of the same general consensus across the board is it's just stop complaining about the matchups and get good. While that is an agreeable sentiment, it's a small card pool, people. There's only so many combinations that you can do. And there's this little thing that I like to call bad matchups. You will not win every single matchup. But once again, I come from Yu-Gi-Oh! Where, there's always going to be a defined best deck. And, there will be other decks that will outshine those decks. Just because you have a tier 1 deck does not give you a better reason to be better than others, especially if a good player comes around and just straight annihilates you. That's not how it is. So a lot of this player base is not very keen and understanding of what a small meta pool of cards looks like. That's just on the community side. Stores have been getting absolutely screwed on product. Now, what's crazy about this, and I've heard this across the board, is, way to go Bandai, you're killing this game already, Bandai has said that they are aware of all the demand, and they are reprinting these products for stores to get their hands on. There was a wave 2 of the first set, the start decks, 1 through 4 are supposed to have a release, but the release for the IBO deck, or the Iron-Blooded Orphans, was an absolute train wreck. I heard so many locals got screwed over that they weren't able to get this product. And then, of course, stores are canceling these events, which is leading the community to raise the pitchforks and go, oh my God, you guys got the promos, you're screwing us, you're selling this product on eBay. I've heard countless stories about locals not holding these events, turning around selling these decks, which, were what, MSRP $20? Turn around selling them for 80 on TCG Player or on eBay. Yeah, I get it. It's a terrible thing for your LGS to abandon you. All right. It sucks. And in the hindsight, now you come down to the internal discussion of, do you support this, report it to Bandai, all of that. I'm not here on the morale wagon. All right. You do what you got to do for your community and for yourself. Now, so product is a train wreck. All right. Set 2, there's already fears of this next release being terribly undefined. There's going to be terrible releases, products going to drop. It's going to be a horrible time getting stuff. Okay. But we're not there yet. We're coming off of this fear of set 1 and the IBO deck being terribly hard to get products. And what's kind of crazy to me on that thought is the start decks of the first 4 decks were in my locals for several weeks. You could get these for a little bit of time, Yeah, picking them up before the meta started was the best call. But it's turned into a train wreck. So there's that. And then, of course, there's been the whole event fiascos that you've probably seen online where, you know, the last Bandai Card Fest was an absolute train wreck. I've heard so many stories about people missing their events, you know, a QR code getting leaked, you know, so many other bad cases. At Gen Con, Thursday, it was pretty smooth. I mean, nobody knew what the hell was going on, but I mean, I was lucky enough to be there early. And, you know, if you're able to figure out before everybody else figures out what the heck's going on, you usually end up winning. So I got lucky, got it figured out, and we were able to, you know, go from there. But, you know, the next couple of days, people were there at 2, 3 a.m. Yeah, it's not good. It's right opportunities at the right time for this. Where do we go from here? You have a community of stores that have been losing their player bases. A good store out of Chicago that I know is already, they're barely getting 4 to 6 players a week for Gundam. And they're like, we have no players. We can't get product for players to want to start the game. What's the point in wanting to support a game if you can't get product? And then you've got other people that are like, just go buy singles. Well, I'd love to go buy singles, but the single market, I will give some credit for. All right, minus the start decks. If you want things out of the first set, I mean, $7 to $10 on low rarity. I think one of your most expensive cards is like maybe $15. On that side of things, secondary market's not a terrible place. When you start to need those start deck 1 through 4 cards, you know, these $3, $4 commons, they start to add up. You know, the Grandpa Gundams from, what was it, Starter Deck 1, the blue one with the repair, you know, the Ale Strikes, yeah, you know, $17 an Ale Strike, each deck comes with 2 of them. Yeah, it starts to become some issues on that front. Now, with the second set coming, our card pool will effectively be doubling at this point, which means new interactions, new opportunities to kind of test out the meta, and, you know, maybe some of these problems will get fixed. Maybe the set 1 cards that are $7 to $10 now will go down in price to these $5 to $4 cards. You know, the problem is, as Wave 2 comes in, the value will displace and you will start to see those major shifts happening. And then the next question becomes, you know, will stores even be able to get this? There's a lot of fear and upsetness. And the same thing that a lot of One Piece players said, you know, like, yeah, you might be missing out on like the first year of Gundam, but usually by the time, you know, set 4, 5 rolls out next year, you know, we should be seeing displacements in, you know, numbers. More stores should be opening up more product, and they'll start to see their numbers, and their distribution chain should have an idea of, hey, this is the amount of product that we need to fulfill. This is what's going on. But it's a bumpy ride getting to that phase in the game. So, in my utmost of opinion right now, it's going to be a bumpy ride for a little while longer. If you were able to get product and open it, congratulations. You are a percentile of this game. I will also say I just had a friend get into the game. He had a locals that still has start decks all the way back from the beginning. I'm sure there are locals out there that still have product, but then you're flipping the coin on, are they charging TCG player price, or are they charging, you know, MSRP? That is your coin flip, everybody. And that is a game that I don't know if it's really worth playing at this point. But be patient, stay calm. It is a bumpy ride in a lot of sectors, yes, but I like to believe that the powers that maybe are learning, you know, they are learning from their mistakes. They are seeing, oh crap. And also, this game's more popular than it ever should have been. Like, 2025, I never had this on my bingo sheet, you know? But I digress, man. It's a time, to say the least. So, what do you guys think? Please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think, and I'll see your beautiful faces back here in the day, guys. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.